Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about parallel structure. Now, parallel structure is when each item in a coordinate structure has the same form. And what I mean by coordinate structure is that's just a list or a comparison. So when we write lists, when we write comparisons in English, we need to make sure that both of the items or each of the items in that list or comparison is in the same form. And we'll look at that in more detail in just a moment, but you can see that there's an example at the bottom of this slide. And the example says, Ellen likes hiking, attending rodeos, and taking afternoon naps. In this sentence, we have a list. Item number 1 is hiking, item number 2 is attending rodeos, and item number 3 is taking afternoon naps. So those are the items that we are going to be looking at to determine whether or not this is parallel. Now, this is, in fact, a good example of parallel structure because each of those items are in the same form. If we look at it carefully, what we have are 3 verbs or verb phrases. Hiking is an action, it's a verb. Attending rodeos is an action, it's a verb phrase. And taking afternoon naps, again, is a verb, it's something you can do. So we have a verb and 2 verb phrases. Now, on the surface, that might seem like they are not the same form. However, they still work because if we look really carefully at those verbs, we can see that all of the verbs are in present tense and they end in ing. We have hiking, attending, and taking. And so they all match, they all work together. Even though we have a couple of words after the verb itself is identical in its form. And so that one works. As you can see on the bottom, our note there says when making verb phrases parallel, make sure that they are in the same tense. And that's something that we should watch for moving forward. Now, here are a couple more examples. We just looked at the correct example on the top, but now we're going to look at an incorrect example. So you can see our bottom example there is not parallel. And that one says, Ellen likes hiking, the rodeo, and to take afternoon naps. Now, if we go into more detail on this incorrect example, what we have now is a verb, hiking, a noun phrase, so a thing, the rodeo, and then another verb phrase that's to take afternoon naps. Now, this one is a problem for us because this sentence mixes verbs and nouns, and the verbs aren't even in the same tense. The first verb is hiking with an ing, so that's present tense that is currently happening. And then our next item in the list is the rodeo, which is a thing. We have taken off the attending at the beginning, so it is no longer a verb. It is now a noun phrase, which is a problem. And then our last item is to take afternoon naps. And to take is a different form than taking would be. If we said taking afternoon naps, that would then match with hiking. But because we turned it into the infinitive, and that's what it's called when you add a to the beginning, because we said to take instead of taking, now we have a problem. So this example is not parallel. So all of that being said, your takeaway for today is that when you are writing, specifically with lists and comparisons, each item in that list or comparison needs to be in the same form. If you start a list with a noun, have every item in that list be a noun. If you start a list with a verb, have every item in that list be a verb, specifically in the same tense. If you start a list with an adjective, have every item in that list be an adjective. I'm sure you get where this is going. Make sure that your lists and comparisons are parallel and your writing will be a lot stronger. Thanks for watching.